Caitlin, cue the music.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Join my best friend the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing today?
Ray, every day I wake up during the week and I get my kids up, I get them dressed, and then my son likes cereal. I get my cup of coffee, I drink it out of my Geeks mug. For sale if you want one, DM us. You know what I get, Ray?
What?
Our non-sponsor of the day. I jump into the freezer and I get an Eggo buttermilk waffle. Lego, my Eggo, my daughter and I enjoy these every day. This is my go-to in the morning or late at night when you get the little munchies, but you don't want a full meal. And you don't want chips. You don't want to eat horrible.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, a buttermilk Eggo waffle really hits the spot. So the non-sponsor of today's episode, Eggo waffles. Delicious. They also make pancakes, small waffles, other things. Proud to have them as a non-sponsor for this week. They don't even know about it, but they will. Tag us, Eggo. Thank you so much for being the non-sponsor of the week. And if you would like to be the full sponsor of our show, Geeks Who Like Sports, we'll name them waffle after you. I don't think we have the power to do that. We'll do that.
What would be the geek waffle? What flavor of waffle would be the geek waffle? Because I love an Eggo waffle as well.
He said, what flavor? I said Doritos.
The Dorito Mountain Dew waffle.
Extreme waffle. Extreme waffle.
Extreme.
No, I'm not going to
Eggo, do not make that waffle.
I think I'm going to say this. Outside of Belgian waffle, which is kind of its own food class, the buttermilk Eggo waffle, I believe, is perfection. I don't think you can get a better flavor than that. I mean, some people like the plain one. There's the chocolate chip one that's a little bit more dessert for me.
I'm a big fan of the chocolate chip one. So
I just don't want that the first thing in the morning, right? And I think Americans forget, Ray, waffles are a dessert in most countries.
Yes.
It's only in America that we justify dessert for breakfast. And Eggo are not sponsored.
It's not only in America. Italy does it too.
Well,
Italy does it too.
The Italians can do whatever they want. I mean, that's
exactly.
But buttermilk is my favorite. If there was a geek flavored waffle. Okay, let's discuss this real quick. Is it breakfast or is it dessert, which we're trying to do?
So to me, a waffle is breakfast.
Okay, so this is a breakfast waffle with a geek theme because Eggo is going to make this if they decide to sponsor. Well, I'm sorry, if we decide to allow them to be our sponsors. Caitlin, our producer, they did do it like an 8-bit design at one point. The box was designed with some 8-bit stuff like Minecraft stuff.
Right. I was gonna say because with all the block, you already have the waffle with like the grid pattern, so it's already kind of like if you could maybe color it like Tetris or something. That would be interesting.
Are we talking flavors or are we talking the look? Because they've done plenty of geek properties on the wall.
No, I'm thinking flavor. Right?
Ooh, this is tough. What would I want in the morning?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to go back to my childhood, and I'd pour a big bowl of what? No, here, Eggo. We got it. Eggo, non-sponsor of the week. Kellogg's makes it.
Yeah.
We got to combine the cereal with the waffle, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great cereals you could combine. Probably.
Excuse me, friend. Siri, show me Kellogg's cereals. Okay, Kellogg Company. Eggo, we're doing your job for you, but we love you. All right, this is why you're the non-sponsor of the week. Being a little aggressive, but that's okay. Ray, keep talking while I'm looking.
No, I think this is a good idea. I am also a fan. I haven't had a Lego Eggo waffle. Lego Eggo. Lego my Eggo. Eggo waffles, of course. I'm a huge fan as well.
Ray, there's a lot of great options. I mean, we've stumbled across something early in this episode. Okay, I'm looking at all of the Kellogg cereals. I mean, I could do a Raisin Bran waffle. People are gonna think I'm crazy. Fruit Loops waffle.
I was gonna say Fruit Loops. Raisin waffle actually wouldn't be terrible.
A Raisin Bran waffle. Like if the waffle tasted like Raisin Bran, that'd be good. I mean, obviously Frosted Flakes would be a winner for a lot of people.
That's top tier.
But Rice Krispie waffle, Frosted Mini Wheat waffle.
Yeah,
I mean, you could win here.
I love Rice Krispies.
Yeah, Cocoa Crisp. I mean, I'm gonna say that's under the other. Oh, Apple Jacks waffle. Now I got to search. And the people from Eggo are obviously watching this show.
I think they actually have done like an Apple Jacks waffle. I think
Eggo,
like some kind of apple cinnamon, probably. I think that kind of makes sense.
We're gonna do our due diligence here. We're gonna find cereal flavor waffle. This is going
again,
so much deeper.
Ego, Kellogg's, we can help. We clearly,
Oh,
we're
okay.
onto something.
Okay, whoa. I forgot about this. Ego has done a waffle cereal. I remember this. They did a cereal where the cereal was like little Eggo waffles coming out of the box.
Huh. Now, would you put cereal on that or milk, or would you put syrup on that?
On the box, you can see that there. It's like your little waffles going in there with some milk. Now, I would not do that personally, but I'm not seeing any imagery here, Ray, of Eggo going the other way. No, I apologize. There was a Fruit Loop waffle.
Oh, there
So
you go.
Eggo, you see, Kellogg's, you are the geniuses.
We can do more. We can do more, though.
We can do more. You guys have done the other types of waffles. Yep. But listen, I'm here for it. I'm going to tell you this again. Eggo, I'm a huge fan. I've eaten a lot of waffles. You've done wonderful branding. This is Geeks Who Like Sports in Stranger Things. Ray, some of the main characters like Eggo waffles and that. But it's a perfect start of my day. Now, my hope is this, and again, the people from Kellogg's are going to be very concerned, is I had to take this out of the freezer to do this spot. So I got to get them back in the freezer at some point.
You should probably get them back in the freezer. You should probably toss them over to producer Caitlin to toss them back in the freezer.
One last thing, Ray, because you're right. And some of you listening might be lucky enough to hear the door open and Caitlin can come out of her producer realm, which is another realm of existence. Looking at the nutritional value, not that bad. It's not that bad.
No, it's not.
That's 2 waffles, and it's not that bad.
You know what? The thing is what people don't realize it's when you put a lot of butter and syrup on the waffle. Yeah. That's when you up obviously the carb and the sugar.
Right. The producer door has opened.
Yeah. Caitlin, put the waffles back in the freezer.
Give me thy waffles. Here they come. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Live television, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dun 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 dun.
Live for us. At least you'll all see that on the replay.
Listen, producer Caitlin does a lot. She edits the show. She helps us get these titles on the show. And you can add to her long list of resume things. Put the Eggo waffles back in the freezer when Lee gets a wild idea for non-sponsor of the week.
Sure. And now we're going to vamp for time to make sure that Caitlin can get back to her chair. So that she can update the
in my peripherals, I see her. I'm about to be hit with something. I was. And now she's going back in the room. It was a fake puck. I threw it at her, and she just shut her door in time. And that's how we do things here at Geeks Who Like Sports.
Chucking pucks over at the Geeks Studios in Philadelphia.
I just missed. Whoa. Okay, she's throwing stuff at the set now. All right, that's not okay.
All right. Settle down over there. Settle down.
Ray,
we got a show to do.
It's a pickleball. Look at that. It's a pickleball by 20 by 44 Life Pickleball. Check them out. 20by44.net. Okay, there we go. New business venture.
An extra non-sponsor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Anyway, Ray, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, that's excellent. We got ourselves a nice show today. Might not be our longest show. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
Did you hear the audience just go, "Oh, thank God"?
Yes. we got a lot of games. I beat 3 games in the last week.
Wow, I coached 3 games in the last weekend.
Oh, so that's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's different though. Geeks Who Like Sports.
Yeah, well, I mean, none of these games are sports, but games. But your games were sports.
One sport, but yes.
So there you go. So, but we also got a lot of sports stuff to talk about. Got a little bit of football news. Got some fun stuff coming over from across the pond to talk about that's just going viral. But we're going to kick things off. The big thing going on right now is a lot of baseball talk. Spring training has started. Games are starting to be played.
Ray, how many in your scrolling? How many times have you seen Ohtani at baseball just hitting practice? Because it's all over my feed right now.
See me, I'm because I'm a Yankee fan. I'm getting minimal Ohtani.
Oh, really? You get more?
Yeah,
Yankees.
All of my stuff is Aaron Judge and Spencer Jones and Juan Soto hitting home runs.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah, because I could care less about the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani because I don't really care.
Can we act like irresponsible sports fans and I can brag about how the Phillies beat the Yankees in spring training and how it matters?
It doesn't matter.
Oh. Oh.
It's just practice.
What are you
talking about? Practice.
We talk about spring training, and I will give this the spring training hats this year very good across the board.
The hats are very good, but we'll get into it. The uniforms are not.
They're not. That's why I'm bringing it up. We will get into that.
We will get into it, but we want to start off actually with MLB free agency because although Cody Bellinger just before the show started recording, or yesterday. We're recording this on February 26th. Finally signed a 3-year extension with the Cubs for $80 million a year, 30, 30, and 20 is how the deal breaks down with options after every year for Cody. to opt out. But a lot of folks are talking about Mr. I believe Scott Boras and his players, and some of the biggest names in the market still don't have teams. JD Martinez, Matt Chapman, and probably the two biggest remaining pitchers, World Series champion Jordan Montgomery and National League Cy Young winner Blake Snell, are still out in the market. And spring training started, folks. Pitchers and catchers, pitchers in particular, reported 10 days or 12 days ago at this point. And now there are reasons into this, but Lee, what are your thoughts on guys holding out for and it's not like they're not getting big offers, but holding out now well into the start of spring training?
Yeah, I think the question is, are they looking for a winner or are they looking for a contract? The spring training is always very interesting to me, or free agency, I should say, is always very interesting to me because the baseball parity is getting worse and worse and worse.
Yes.
Right. So you could go to a bad team now and probably make a lot of money. But the question is, there's certain teams that are loading up now. I hate to say it like this because it's unfair, but it's a little bit of a basketball type feel of like, okay, these 5 teams are going to be in contention.
Right.
So it's like, I'm wondering if they're just trying to get in with one of those teams.
Well, I think it's also, I think the luxury tax is actually kind of backfiring in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is that the smaller market teams, because there's no minimum in baseball, right? Which is why the salary cap in football and hockey works so well, is that teams have to spend a certain amount of money.
And baseball should do that, but they won't.
Right, because what would happen then is you would have a team like the Pirates or the Royals or the Twins be like, "Oh, we need to sign Snell just to get to that that threshold." And what you're seeing now with the luxury tax is like teams like the Yankees. The Yankees now have hit the luxury tax, right? And what ends up happening is with the current CBA, every dollar they now spend over the luxury tax, they have to put 110% into the revenue sharing. So what happens is if the Yankees spend, for every dollar they spend, they have to put $1.10 to then be spread around the league.
It shows you how big the Yankees are, like when you really think about it, because they don't care. I mean, it just shows you how massive the brand is compared to some of these other teams.
But the thing is that now they are starting to care because now, they're not going to compete with themselves. So the only offer that we know on the table that Blake Snell has received from the Yankees, which was 6 years, $150 million. It's $25 million a year, right? Yeah. That's not chump change for a Cy Young winner. You also have to remember that Blake Snell's on the wrong side of 30. He's 31 now. So that would take him to 37. And the idea is that if the Yankees were to spend $150 million now, that means that, $25 million a year. So that means they're also going to have to spend an extra I think it's like $27.5 million into revenue sharing, basically giving the rest of the league $1 million. Every other team has to get $1 million from the Yankees.
Yeah.
Blake Snell wants $35 million a year, and the Yankees are like, we're not going to give you that money. A, we're not going to compete with ourselves because, again, going to your point, Lee, there aren't teams spending that money.
Right.
But B, we don't want to have to give more than another $1 million to all these other teams, because why should we be giving teams that aren't spending money just to pocket, right? Like, that's the other problem with the revenue sharing.
It is. Revenue sharing is great in some aspects when a team is struggling heavily and you want to keep a team that market. You saw this in the NHL years ago with teams like the Coyotes and teams actually like the Washington Capitals. A lot of people don't realize how quick they were how close they were to being insolvent. So revenue sharing and obviously the salary cap fixed all that. But in baseball, there's so much more money. I mean, and look, when the owners come to the table, like, they understand we have to do what's best for the league or there'll be no baseball, right? We win when the league wins. But at the same time, I can see the Yankees going, well, wait. Why are we spending more than everybody else?
Right. I think this comes down to because there's no minimum, right? It'd be different if the Yankees gave, again, the Royals or the Tigers $1 million, and then those teams had to turn around and put that $1 million back into the team.
Right.
And instead, what's happening is these ownership groups are just like, the Yankees gave us $1 million.
Yeah. Look at the Florida Marlins for years and years and years. I mean, that's how they did their business. And like, you could say it's smart business. It's bad for baseball. It's bad for the fans.
Right.
Which is bad for the brand at the end of the day. All right. And they did compete with those rosters, ironically enough. But the problem is that there really should be a minimum in baseball. I just think that this is one of those old timey things about baseball that gets annoying. You know what I mean? But I look, where are they going to go? Put the money on the table, they'll go there. Or if they want to win, they'll end up with a team like the Phillies.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We'll see. I mean, supposedly now Jordan Montgomery and Snell, the teams that are still interested is the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies, and of all teams, the Angels, as they're trying to keep butts in seats after Shohei obviously went up the highway.
He's going to be much happier up the highway.
I think so too.
Yeah, and let me say this again. We talked about this before. There is no excuse for the Angels to have not made the postseason. It's just disgusting. Why would anybody want to play there?
No, it is a terribly run organization, and honestly, the best thing that could have happened at an organization is if Artie Moreno, the owner, sold last year, and the fact that he changed his mind and said, "No, I think I'm going to keep the team after all." That's like honestly, it's one of the worst things that happened to the Angels, which it just. And now you're seeing it. So
you lost baseball's greatest player, and there was no fight.
Yeah,
none. I mean, stupid.
You rolled over, and here's the thing. And again, the worst thing is, you knew you weren't going to re-sign him, so you didn't trade him and at least get something in return.
I mean, that's the worst part.
Like you could have, you knew you were. Everybody knew Ohtani was not going to stay with the Angels.
You could have gotten the whole future there in one bout.
Yes.
And the team could have got the premier player in baseball for the postseason.
Yep.
Potentially won the postseason with that guy. I know he was hurt, obviously, at the end of the season, but that's.
But at the trade deadline, you didn't know that, right? Like,
yeah. And I saw him play, and it's like every time the guy came to the plate, he hit the. I mean, it's insane. There's like I wasn't striking out.
Yeah.
So anyway,
funny. The one game I went to see Ohtani, he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Did he really?
Yeah,
he got 4 for 4.
The Mariners have very good pitching. It was Mariners versus Angels.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it was 4 for 4. I saw him playing the Phillies in Philadelphia. So the Phillies are a good team too. Yeah. But
so it's an interesting thing going on out here as spring training starts. You mentioned the Yankees lost to the Phillies. Yankees also beat up on the Tigers and the Blue Jays. A lot of split squad stuff going on. It's been fun to see. The Yankees, it's hard to watch because I don't know if there's a plan there. We have these amazing prospects right now just hitting the cover off the ball. And you also just kind of like you wonder and you look at them and you're like, so when are we going to promote them?
Yeah.
When are we going to? I want to see Spencer Jones in his first at bat of the spring hit a 470-foot home run. The kid's like 19 years old. Like, start calling these kids up. Let's see have I don't know, get younger and have fun again and get rid of garbage guys like Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know. That seems like a good plan to me. But, Brian Cashman hasn't been hit by a bus yet. So keep calling for it. But Lee, what are your thoughts on the very beginnings of spring training here? Obviously, it's 6 weeks or 5 weeks until
you know what? This season has so much anticipation for the Dodgers. That's the story of the year. So spring training is, it's fun. It's cool. Baseball's coming back. I told you, this is one of the first seasons in a long time. I've really been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be an interesting season. What is it going to go as planned? Where are they 100+ win team, or are they going to not be 100+ win team? Which would be unbelievable, by the way, if that happened. It would actually make him a cancer in the locker room. That's the label he would get.
Yeah.
But as a Phillies fan, I'm very excited for the season. That team has been thriving the last few years, and like I'm looking forward to watching baseball for the first time in a long time. Hopefully they don't screw that up.
The funny thing is that even with all the moves the Dodgers made, the Braves are still the Vegas odds-on favorite to win the World Series.
No, of course they are. I mean, look, that team's always there.
Yeah.
All right? If there's anything I know as a Phillies fan, the Braves are there.
Yeah. It's not like, and that's the thing is that like the Dodgers got better, but there's a lot of other good teams still in baseball, and you never know what's going to happen in a 5 or 7 series.
The only danger of the signings, Ohtani and everything in LA is that, you don't want the regular season to be worthless. You know what I mean by that? Like with basketball, it's always like, well, okay, I already know the 6 teams that are going to be there. You know what I mean? I look forward to that. That's one of the reasons I love the in-season tournament. But who's going to be there the last few rounds of the playoffs. So it's like, why watch the regular season unless you really love basketball, which I get. I love hockey. I like watching hockey. Sure. But hockey, you never know. You never know who's going to be there, ever. Yeah. All right, every team has odds.
Yeah,
right.
Once you're in, and that's the thing. Once you're in the tournament, we see it all the time. Eight seeds beat 1 seeds all the time. And
it is harder.
Not all the time, but
it is harder to predict the 16 teams that are gonna make it in hockey than it is to predict the 6 teams in the MLB that are probably going to be there. So
who knew that the Vancouver Canucks would be the best team in hockey?
Yeah, right. Well, Vancouver's doing very, very well. I mean, Winnipeg was doing very well. I mean, you just never know when things are going to click. I mean, the Rangers doing very well, very, very well.
Just we
as
had
predicted.
our record 10-game winning streak snap yesterday, but
it's all right.
Rangers are the best team in the East right now.
Yeah, 10-game win streak, 20 points is plenty this time of year. You don't need any more. Anyway, the other thing too is that I just hope the MLB does not go through this. Like, I don't want to be in the middle of the season just like, I don't care right now, because it's like the Dodgers are running away with it. And
I mean, and that's the thing. And again, it's like you kind of already know, like, and again, things could change, and goodness knows, I hope that we see some surprise teams and whatnot, like Arizona last year.
Yeah,
and obviously,
it's fun. Even though they beat my team, it's fun. You never
right.
That's good.
Arizona came out of nowhere, and that's good for baseball, right? Whereas Texas, you didn't know that they loaded up in the off season last year, but you didn't know if it was going to click. And for a while there, they lost the division on the last game of the season.
Right.
You didn't know what they were going to do in the playoffs.
Although we did predict that run, which I'm very proud of us for.
Yes. Yeah. No, for sure. And again, congratulations to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Who had
sometimes in baseball, you can't see where things are going.
Yes. Well, you know what you can see as we now move into our final baseball.
What can you see, Ray?
You can see everything, Lee, because Major League Baseball a couple years ago, I've talked about it. They signed a deal with Nike to start doing the uniforms for baseball, and which I was like, why? I don't know. I guess money wise and stuff, because it was why fix something that isn't broken? That's always my go-to. Why fix something that wasn't broken? The uniforms were fine. They went to Nike though, and now Nike's like, we're gonna have new breathable fabric, and it's gonna be better for the players. And not only do the uniforms look like garbage, because a lot of the lettering has changed for most teams. The Yankees were the one team who continues to push back against all of this, which again, finally, the one-time tradition actually worked in our advantage, I feel, at least in recent years. And a lot of teams are now suffering from the fact, and especially if you look at their picture days for their baseball cards and whatnot, the uniforms are see-through.
Yeah.
Like you can see everything. Way too much. You're seeing a whole lot more balls and bats than you were on the field before. Let's say that, folks.
Yes, this pun intended.
Yeah, it. Again, Nike, what are you doing? Baseball, what are you doing?
Well, what's funny about this story, Ray, is the MLB came out. I was researching this a little bit before the show, and they're like, we haven't changed anything on the pants. Nothing's changed on the pants. Then they said the jersey fabric is different. I was like, no, I don't ever recall you having to blur a player's bats and balls before in the history of baseball. I don't ever remember you having to do that. There's pictures with blurs because they have to do it. Not to mention, almost in every single picture, you can see the jersey tucked in.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can see the bottom of the jersey. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that they're the same.
Yeah.
I hate when companies like, no, you're wrong. Like, no, we're not. You idiots. No. You address it. You say, you know what? We're going to fix this. Funny. Haha. You will always remember this, but we're going to get this right. That's how you move forward for some of this.
We're going back to last year's pants.
We're on to new pants. We didn't make any changes. What are you doing, idiots? So anyway, it's all you got to do. Google, you're listening. Google MLB see-through uniforms, and you'll see what we're talking about. Yes. And again, if you think it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. I don't want to see the tucked-in jersey, and this is Nike. I don't know why this is a problem. And again, you're telling me that in all of the testing people do for these types of things, no one noticed that the jerseys were see-through. And guys, everybody listening, it's not one team. It's every single team has this problem. Nobody did their job on this one. And Nike, I would like to think, is to a little bit of a higher standard, but no. It's time to bring back Majestic fully around the board.
Please.
All right.
Please.
They did a great job. That is the baseball brand Majestic. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Get back in the game.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a matter of money or what the deal was.
I'm looking at my Majestic Phillies jersey right now, which you can't see on the show, but I'm looking. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Nike. Get out of baseball. You did a terrible job when you first came in and put your logo on every uniform. Now you've changed the uniforms. You've ruined them. I'm sorry. As a baseball fan, Like, look, I'm not your target audience anyway, most likely, Nike, but if I was going to buy something before, I definitely ain't now.
Well, I'm gonna say again, like if you wanted to innovate, like, because I understand people wanting to make the new mark on the way in, Ray. I do,
Yeah.
but it's like that. Make the fan jerseys breathable, schmucks.
Yeah.
Like the ones, with the guys in the crowd with the jersey with the mustard on it because he's eating his hot dog for some reason with the jersey on, and it's just that doesn't fit him right, doesn't look right. He's got it tucked in for God knows why. All right, but that's the guy that needs a breathable jersey. But I'm looking at pictures here. Every single one looks horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how they messed this up. Again, there's the one here that's like blurred, right? It's amazing to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, it's I just don't.
But Ray, the pants haven't changed.
Yeah.
The MLB
And again, this is also and producer Caitlin also mentions it's also Fanatics, right? It's Nike and Fanatics. They have a relationship, right? Like where they basically like Fanatics manufactures him, but like it's Nike who kind of owns it. It's a weird like licensing thing.
Hey man, Fanatics has got a really bad track record now of quality assurance.
Yeah.
It's becoming a problem.
Yeah, so it isn't just Nike. We should say it is also Fanatics, and they kind of have this weird symbiotic relationship with the baseball uniforms.
Whoa, no. I am not letting Nike off the hook here.
Oh, absolutely not.
Their name is on this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Nike logo is on every uniform.
Yeah, like they're not getting off the hook with me on that. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. No. But just again to clarify, it is Nike and Fanatics. It is both of them. Both of them should be hit by a bus. Moving on. Moving on now to football. A little small. It sounds like a small signing, but the Kansas City Chiefs signed a new punter. Their punter from the Super Bowl was heading to free agency, and this is actually a good story, and actually in a way kind of like baseball. I kind of hope it happens with Trevor Bauer, who has been his charges were all cleared, although there might be more charges coming for something else. That's a different story. And when that happens, if that happens, then we'll comment then. But at the moment, he has been cleared of all charges. And also Matt Araiza, known as the punt god.
The punt god. I want everybody to hear this. The punt god.
Was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. They were very, very high on him. And then he was accused of rape. He was accused of being part of a rape of a young woman. Which of course is a terrible, horrible situation.
Yes.
And obviously something happened to this woman that was terrible and beyond description, and is awful. But when she accused, it was a gang rape situation, accused several gentlemen of this act. She also included Matt Araiza, who has now come to light was not even in the building that this occurred in. Matt has been cleared of all charges. He has been completely exonerated. And similar to Trevor Bauer's situation, Matt then also countersued for defamation.
Absolutely.
He has now since dropped his case against her. And because of that, he's now going to be allowed back to the NFL. And the Chiefs said, great, you've been found not guilty. You're our punter now. And I think honestly, it's a great signing because the best team in football just got better in a small way on special teams. And good for this kid for getting getting a second chance, but really still getting his first chance because again, he was not guilty of the crime.
Right.
So
yeah, I this is a tough one to discuss. I'm going to reiterate, obviously, what Ray said is no tolerance if someone's ever found guilty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If he was guilty, go to jail. Go straight to jail.
No, I'm all about that. But I also say that there needs to be some more protection for athletes in situations like this, or I should say anybody with a lot of money or high potential, because there's a lot of this going around where people are being accused. And like he wasn't even in the building. So how does he even get to this point? Yeah. Right? It's scary to me. It's a little scary to me. Now, athletes do have a responsibility to not put themselves in those situations, but he didn't. And he lost time. I just, that's amazing to me. It's scum of the earth, some of these people, man. But like you said, you are who you hang out with.
Sure.
Choose
and the thing is, and it's come out now, we should give in some of the details that the girl and him did have a consensual relationship at one point.
Sure.
Right. It's not as if she blindly accused him, But for the incident of the gang rape, which again, the people who did do this to her, like, if it is found that they are found guilty, go to jail. Right? You found guilty of that, jail. Rape equals jail, if not worse. Like,
it should be worse.
Yeah, right. Like, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, but in this particular instance, all the evidence came out, and again, not even in the building.
Right.
And so he's not guilty. He goes back to his life. And to Lee's point, it is something where you wonder what the thinking was for her to throw his name into the accusations.
It was payback. That's what the thinking was.
Yeah, I mean, again, can't get into her head, but it is interesting. Again, this happened with Trevor Bauer. It happened with Matt Araiza. And again, this is not taking anything away from the victims here. And obviously, it sounds like she was victimized in some way.
Which she was wrong. Yeah,
and terrible and horrible. But this obviously
the punt god
is cleared and now back in the NFL. So there you go. So again, we call same thing with with Jonathan Majors. He's going to go to jail. That's it. You're out of Marvel. You're out of MCU, right? You're found guilty. Bye bye. Yeah. But when you're found innocent, you need to be. I'm glad that teams recognize, or at least the Chiefs recognize he's innocent. Put him on the squad. Put him on the roster. Right. So
yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Well, there we go. Moving on to a bit more fun in sports. Because sports
football.
Should be fun.
I love football and I love hockey, Ray.
Yes. So some crazy folks over there in Germany, a lot of crazy folks over there, decided we're going to combine them. We're going to put hockey and American football together.
What?
And it's called German ice football. It is
GIF.
It is, yes, it is, and it is a gift. It is a gift to the world because it is the most funny thing you've ever seen on TikTok, where it is these guys stumbling and bumbling on the ice as they're getting the ball. They have like neon goalposts, like it kind of looks like arena football. Like it's almost like arena football.
It is. It's arena football with yardage on the ice, and if you can imagine, you snap the ball, you give it to a running back, and they have to slowly but carefully and quickly navigate down the ice.
Yes.
And if you can imagine running a route on the ice in your shoes, this isn't skates.
Yes.
It's the shoes. It's hilarious. Not to mention the German announcing is what makes it go even better.
Yes, because they go completely over the top with it, as they should.
Yes.
And it is hysterical.
And they're wearing full hockey pads without skates, by the way.
And I'm just seeing all the time now on my TikTok feed, and I am thrilled about this.
Yes, we should go to Germany and watch a game.
Yes, I think I would rather watch this, than the UFL. I think this should come to the States.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, well, only if you. It's got to be announced only in German, though. I don't want to hear any American broadcasters doing this.
Yeah, I could do it.
Geeks who go to Germany to watch ice football. That's the new name of the show. Our producer can do whatever she wants. GWGTGTWIF.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
GWGTGTWIF. It's got a ring to it.
It's like I don't know if it necessarily rolls off the tongue.
All right, fine, Caitlin. We'll keep it Geeks Who Like Sports.
Yes. All right. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it on TikTok or highlights on Twitter or anywhere else online, look it up. German ice football.
You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're almost at the geek section. Here's a little taste of German ice football for those of you watching this at home.
Defensiv exzellent. Und da bringt der Alexander Haupert zu Fall und das ist überragend. Das ist Defensive Player of the Evening bisher. Evil Jared, du Maschine.
Now, if you're listening to it, you didn't see it, but those German announcers, still amazing to listen to, even in the audio version of our program.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. And now we gave producer Caitlin more work.
I know so obviously we're recording this now, but she's right now. They're like just searching. Oh, guys, the German ice football, and she's searching the German ice football so she can download the German ice football so that she can put German ice football into the episode 25 seconds ago. Thank you, producer Caitlin.
Yes,
if I'm not careful, something else might get thrown at me. But remember, this was Ray, not me.
No, I just made it a topic. You inserted it into the show.
I believe Ray believed that it needs something thrown at him in Los Angeles.
you guys want to come here to LA to throw stuff at me, you're more than welcome to.
I think it would be hilarious if Caitlin just showed up, threw a puck at you, and left, and that was the only reason she showed up.
Yeah.
You run after her, take me back. Caitlin actually texted us saying she already has ice football in her inbox because of me. So
there you go. Look at
now
that.
Now you should be thanking me.
Ahead of the game.
I could really go for an Eggo waffle right now, but I'm going to make it because that's not Caitlin's job.
Yes, I could go for an Eggo waffle as well.
Well, let's pause the show. We'll be back.
No, it's not pause. Well,
fine. Keep going.
We will push on. We will push through. My hunger can wait.
We got to do the geek section.
We got to do the geek section. like geek section. I got a lot of reviews. Actually, I beat 3 games this week, so we'll get into those. But first, this is a big deal. Obviously, Hollywood is out of ideas, so they've been obviously mining anime, mining video games, already knowing they've built-in audiences. And this is a project that's been in the works for over 8 years, or almost 9, I think. It's been started, stop, and finally now is going to hit movie theaters. We got the first trailer for Borderlands, the movie. Stars Kevin Hart as Roland, which is an interesting choice. Cate Blanchett, though, is in it. She looks great. Jamie Lee Curtis looks like she's going to be hysterical in this. Jack Black is the voice of Claptrap, which is phenomenal. I always think it's what is it? Dave Eddings did the voice of original Claptrap. I always think of him. I think it's yes. I always think of him as the original voice, of course, for Claptrap. But I think Jack Black is going to do a fun job. He did a great job.
Well, the story, if I'm not mistaken, is that someone said they were trying to get the movie made. And they told him like years ago, like, you got to play Claptrap, and he said, "I'll do it. Call me when you're doing it." And that's how that came to be.
There was a huge, no, absolutely. Like, I mean, Jack Black is going to be a great fit for that, 100%. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It feels like they're trying to go for the kind of like the new Jumanji movie in terms of the vibe, right? Like,
I got way more of a Guardians of the Galaxy feel. I mean, it felt
that
like
too.
a trailer
That too.
For that. I mean, I was watching this like, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, all of it, the music, the style, the editing of the trailer, at least. I mean, maybe they just brought in the person who edited those trailers.
Maybe, but it is true. It does have that vibe. It's just, I think it'll be a bit darker, hopefully.
Of course it will, for sure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun. They're in a rocket car going through giant monsters, and like, they're obviously, if you're not familiar with Borderlands, it's, basically a bunch of this, hive of scum and villainy on the planet of Pandora looking for treasure. It's a big treasure hunt, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great series, and my only thing is I don't know. I don't know if Kevin Hart can do Roland, but I think the way it's probably written, it'll probably be fine. But Roland in the games is a very stoic and serious character. Which
I think that they're banking that people haven't played the game too.
Right. They're trying to reach more of a general audience for sure. Yeah.
So it's one of those things of like the trailer felt very inauthentic. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm not saying it wasn't interesting.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't look like, oh, I want to see this, but it was just very inauthentic. Like, I've seen this before.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It felt fun, but it definitely did not feel like Borderlands.
No.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see if it can stick the landing when that comes out later this year.
Ray, did you beat Medieval Ghostbusters?
Yes, I beat Medieval Ghostbusters. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, jumped to the top of my chart so far here. It's very early in the year. We're only 2 months into the year, obviously, but by far right now, my game of the first 2 months of 2024. Took me 60 hours. I found everything. It was a ton. I couldn't talk about how fun it was. I think Don't Nod, who have made games like Life is Strange and Vampire and Remember Me, they are game narrative masters. The combat is kind of average, we'll say, kind of your standard fare. That doesn't do anything particularly special in terms of combat, but the story, the web of characters, how everybody ties together. And then, of course, this morality idea of, do you send the ghost to hell? Do you send it to heaven? Or do you kill the person they're haunting because it's their fault that the person is a ghost? That option, those three, it's phenomenal.
That's fresh. I mean, that's a fresh idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I ended up killing only 3 of the people of who were being haunted.
Because you didn't have a bus.
That's right. I didn't have a bus. There's no buses in the Banishers Ghost of New Eden. But it's phenomenal. It's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation, it's on PC. I cannot sing this game's praises enough. It's only $60. I say only because most games nowadays are $70. But this falls in the $60 range, and it more than delivers. Hey, 60 hours for $60.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, right. So, and there's multiple endings. There's 5 different endings you can get. So if you really want to play it again and again and again, you can. Because again, if you kill everybody, it's a very different ending than if you don't kill everybody.
If you kill everybody, I mean, what ending did you get? You want to spoil it?
I got the best ending. I did get the best ending. So I don't want to spoil the ending, but I got what is considered canonically the good ending,
well, or
the best ending. So yeah, because again, I did not kill as many people as I might have been normally inclined to, because I figured that not.
If we take that clip of you saying that out of context, I'm pretty sure I could get you arrested.
Yeah, I could probably get in a lot of trouble. Yes.
Yeah.
Please,
producer, it is all in your hands.
Yes. Please do not get me in trouble, Caitlin. I appreciate it.
You said that. I was like, okay.
No,
so
but it there was a couple of folks that I was on the fence about, and I ended up sparing them because I felt that I feel like this could affect the ending. And
so you do have wait. You were worried because it would affect the ending, or because you have a higher clause of morality in which you realize killing is bad?
No, it's because I kind of figured it would affect the ending.
Oh. I feel like we needed witness protection here.
Ray, tell me what you're doing with the person you shot. My name is Hugo Arza. I killed him.
No, but there were some folks who I ended up I think there's 23 different, and that's true. There's an element of Sherlock Holmes. There's 23 different cases. There's 23 different hauntings going on in New England, and then and those are just most there's some of them. There's only a handful are in the main game. A lot of them are side missions, but some of them are really, really hard decisions. Some of them are really you're like, oh man, you murdered somebody. I should probably murder you too, or man, this is a really complicated thing. You're not fully, you're tangentially to blame. So what do I do with you? Or do I just let the ghost go free? Or the ghost is just real
one of the 3. You kill 3 people. Tell me about one of them.
So one of them was basically 2 hunters were in the woods, and because again, the whole area has been haunted by a thing called the nightmare. Right. So it's affecting everybody in different ways. And so the hunters were having trouble finding wildlife. They ended up getting lost in this spectral mist, and they got lost. And finally, they kind of were there for a couple of weeks. They started starving. And so the one dude killed the other dude and basically went Donner Party on him to survive. And I'm like, dude, you went you went cannibal, dude. I gotta kill you. So I killed the cannibal.
Well, something amazing just happened while you were talking about cannibals. Our editor,
yes,
Xavier, brought me a nice warm Eggo waffle. I saw him walking towards me, and I'm going, this better be good. And he just hands me a plate with this delicious Eggo waffle, our non-sponsor of the week. Eggo, listen to that crunch.
Oh, that was a good crunch.
I got a good microphone. Eggo waffles, not our sponsor.
Not yet. But yes, and definitely that would have prevented the hunter from being a cannibal.
I don't know what human flesh tastes like, but it's nothing compared to this.
I am sure it is not as good as an Eggo waffle.
You're looking for new advertising ideas. Eggo, not human beings.
Yeah.
Thank you, sorry.
Amazing. But yes, I cannot recommend Bannister's Ghost of New Eden enough. The relationships, again, the gameplay is solid, but the story is spectacular. It's a 9 out of 10. Easy 9 out of 10 for me.
The problem with being a Geeks Who Like Sports phrase, there's food in front of you. You just want to eat it. And it's I'm mindful of the audience. You probably don't want to be hearing me chew. So, Ray, I'm going to take a mute, but you tell me about Helldivers 2 real quick.
So this is the big thing going on right now in games. This is the hot new game. A lot of people are playing it, and I don't know why. I bought it. It's $40. It's only $40, but to me, this is a game that is probably only worth $20. Now, the original Helldivers came out in 2015. It's a group called Arrowhead. Their previous big thing was they remade Gauntlet for Warner Brothers in 2014, and then they made Helldivers for 2015. And in 9 years, and with people loving it so much, I wonder if people just didn't play the first game, which was meh. And I feel like the second one is more meh. The big thing is, here, we're gonna mess with the camera. The first game of Helldivers is it's top down. So this is Helldivers 1, right? And now Helldivers 2, now it's third person. So now it's and it's the same game. It's basically the same game.
It's amazing what they'll greenlight for a sequel nowadays.
No.
We just it was good. We just turned the camera wrong.
Yeah, to me, Helldivers needs a lot more than a new camera. I will say this: it is a little bit better because of the different camera, but it's not so much better that, to me, people are. I wonder if this game has any real legs, but to me, it feels like it's the flavor of the month. Right? There's not a lot of other games going on right now, right, in terms of multiplayer. And it's 4-player co-op. It's PvE, which is player versus the environment. One big issue I have with it is friendly fire is on. So if the CEO, I think is the CEO or the game director, somebody over at Arrowhead, the developers, are like, people are asking for a PvP mode. And they're like, we don't want to do PvP because we feel that that encourages a lot of toxicity. And I'm like, you clearly don't play your own game. Because friendly fire also encourages a lot of toxicity.
It would encourage more.
Right.
More.
Because I'll tell you, I stopped playing the game when me and a bunch of strangers. Here's the thing. If you're playing with other people that you don't know, people love to be
stupid
jackasses. They love it. We beat the mission, and then one of the people on my team shot me and the other 3 guys in the back, and he finished the mission by himself. And he got into the lift ship to end the mission. So the 3 of us were dead by the time the ship got. By the time we respawned, the ship took off. Friendly fire still allows people to be toxic. I'm sorry.
How about any form of fire?
Yeah.
Friendly, non-friendly. Anytime you can shoot someone, it's gonna make people toxic.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, if you only made it where the bullets hurt the enemies, this probably would have been that aspect would have been fine. But again,
people are dumb, right?
People are dumb.
What's the value of that? What was the value of him doing that or her doing that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Aside from trying to ruin my night and the other players' nights, that's the only thing I can think of, is taking pleasure in other people's pain. The only value I see in Helldivers is if you have a group of people who you game with regularly, who you're not going to be compelled to shoot in the back, then this isn't a terrible experience. But I will say it, to me, it's also very bare bones. There's only two types of enemies. There's the bugs, that a la Starship Troopers, and then there's an evil robot army. They're very simple. There's not a lot of mission variety. There's an interesting meta game where, like, you're clearing sectors and planets, and the community is kind of trying to work together in that regard. But to me, the gunplay is okay. The character designs are okay. It's not broken.
Right.
But it's also not great. It really just feels like it's a flavor of the month. And that because a lot of people were looking for something different right now in the multiplayer genre, people are gravitating towards it. I'm really curious to see where this is 6 months from now, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as popular as it is right now. I might be wrong, but I already know I'm done with it. I give it a 6 out of 10.
When this person shot you and your team, did they say anything? Like, did you have your mics on, or did they just do it and like they just went away?
They did it and they left. They didn't have their mic on. Me and somebody else did, and we were not happy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So that kind of sucked. Honestly, I again, look, if you have a close personal group of friends and you have $40 to burn, that's the other thing. To me, $40 was a lot for this.
Right.
If this was 20, I might be a little more generous towards it.
That pricing game is really important nowadays.
Yes. And that brings me to our third and final review, which is a game called Balatro that came out of nowhere. This game is $15. And I could argue they could have charged more for it.
It's part of the game, I'm telling you.
Yeah. it seems simple on the surface. It's a card game, and the idea is that you have a deck of cards, 52 cards, and you get 8 cards, and then you have to make the best hand possible out of that 8 cards. And when you do, you get points. Then you take more cards out of your deck, refill your 8, and you have like 3, 4, or 5, depending on the challenge mode or whatever, to try to reach the target score, which obviously gets higher and higher every time. But what's great is that like sometimes you can, as the game goes on, you can get multipliers. You can get special jokers that allow you to do 5 of a kind, or allow you to get multipliers on, like, it increases your spade multiplier or your
Sounds like
heart
something
multiplier.
I'd want to play.
It honestly, it's on all systems. It's on Switch. I got it on Switch. It's the perfect Switch game,
Right?
honestly. Because I can imagine playing this on a plane and like whatnot, and like just the plane trip just flying by.
Yeah, totally.
There's no real end game to it. Like, you can just keep playing against the computer, and like, I mean, there is an end game where it's like it gets to you reach a high score, and then it's like, oh, hey, you won the run, you did it, and now you can start over. And as you play more, you unlock new decks. You can unlock special cards mid run, so that you're like, oh, hey, here's a queen, a 5th queen that goes into your deck. So A, you can make 5 of a kind, but B, it also has like a double multiplier on it, or it has like extra score.
So it's
like
better than Gwent.
It's good because unlike Gwent is good because it's a versus. It's like Magic the Gathering. This is you versus like the high score. You're trying to reach. How high can you get your score?
I like that.
And again, it's only $15.
Were you impressed that I knew what Gwent was?
A little bit. That came out of nowhere. That's a great call, though. Like,
Listen. I know enough to be dangerous.
Yes,
I have played the Witcher franchise, and I know Gwent.
Yes, Witcher is fantastic, and Gwent is fantastic.
I said Gwent, and you're like, Lee.
Yes.
Lee, pulling the deck out. Look at
pulling
you.
pulling the Gwent card out. Look at that. I mean, like that's versus, right? That's either you versus.
No,
like,
that's why I brought it up, because like Gwent can be frustrating at times, right?
Sure.
And like if it's just you versus you, it can be frustrating, but it's a little different.
Yes,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean?
And there's definitely times where it's like, do I play the 3 of a kind now, or do I try to wait a hand and maybe get a full house?
Right.
Like, there's definitely that strategy aspect, because you can also discard a couple of times, like some cards. But like, again, you only can make, it's like you have 4 or 5 of the best hands you can make to try to get that high score.
Here's one for you, Ray. So I'm going to turn this conversation a little bit, if that's okay. But
yes, absolutely.
It's like games, producer Caitlin, of all people, for my birthday, everybody knows I'm kind of a big Ted Lasso fan.
Mm-hmm.
So they got me this Ted Lasso kind of board game. It's kind of a board game. It's cards, it's boards, a lot of different aspects to it. Yeah. But you open it up and you find out this is a cooperative game. Right? Like, you're not competing against anyone. Like, you have to work with someone. It can be more than 2 people to achieve a goal.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I was like, oh, wow. Because that's much more my style anyway, right? You know me. Look, I'm very competitive. And I don't mind it in, like, when I'm playing ice hockey, like, against the other team physically.
Yeah.
But in board games, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. But this was, like, cooperative, and I found it to be really enjoyable. And it makes me wonder, maybe that there should be more cooperative games. I mean, Game of the Year a few years ago, right, was It Takes Two. I'm wondering, like, why that market hasn't expanded more. And it's like, you talk about the Helldivers, like cooperative game that ended in tragedy.
Yes.
Right. Because of that. So why do you think there is not more cooperative type games, board games, video games? Right?
I think it's definitely a growing market. I think, though,
I mean, the sales support what I'm saying.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely a market for it. And I think it's a growing market. I think that it's just a matter of you're fighting against history, right?
Oh, of course. I get that too.
Right. You're fighting against the games have always been, man versus the computer, or man versus another man. Right. And I say, like, the man as in, like, humanity, not like specifically, like, obviously.
You misogynist fool.
No,
in this show, we've realized, hey, Ray has murdered many people, and now it comes out that you're a misogynist?
No. Like, I mean that in the royal, like, human. We'll say human.
It's in the word, Ray.
Human versus computer, or human versus human. Right? Like, and so I think that like human plus human versus computer, or just human plus human versus objective, right? I think it's something that it just doesn't have the history there. But I think that as people keep doing it, there's definitely a market for it. It is a growing market,
Well,
and people have shown they will pay for it and will
what's
do
funny
more
is that like Banishers is kind of a cooperative story. Like it makes me wonder if people are kind of yearning for this a little bit more because again, like It Takes Two is phenomenal, but it's a really different feeling when you're playing with someone. You got to talk to them, you got to work with them, to solve a problem. I mean, look, I'm not. I want to make this really apparent. I am not against player versus player, player versus computer. I mean, that's gaming, right? What I'm saying is, I'm surprised when games win Game of the Year and they do so well. There's not like a copycat market that just jumps all over that.
Sure.
So I'm just curious about that. I never played a cooperative board game before. Every board game I've played is even back to like Chutes and Ladders. It's get to the end first.
Right.
This one was get to the end together.
Right.
And I really like that. Right. So I'm talking about that Ted Lasso game now, but I don't know. Interesting thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a market for. I mean, there's the VR game "Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes" is a great cooperative game, right? Where it's one person.
Yeah. Explain this one to me real quick, because now we're talking about mass genocide, right? You're on a roll.
No. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is great. Basically, one person's wearing the VR headset, and they are, or they are on a laptop or something, and the other people can't see it. And basically, you are describing what you see on the screen or in the headset, and then the person across from you or people across from you, because I played it with a couple of friends. They have like a workbook,
right?
And you're like, okay, I see a red wire, a green wire, and a blue wire, and they're connected at these 3 points. Then the other person has to flip through the workbook, and you're like, okay, cut the green wire, then cut the red, then cut the blue, right? Like, so like you don't have the work. So you need one person's doing the cutting while the other person is walking them through it. And it's a series of like these bombs, like where you're like on the bomb squad. And it's like, okay, I see it's a clock. It looks like it's a digital clock. Like, right. So
go ahead.
It's called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It is a classic cooperative game. And yeah, it's the idea is that it's you either all defuse the bomb or you all lose, because technically you all blow up if you don't defuse it right.
Yeah, I would like to refer back to the great Tony Stark. If you're not the type of guy to lay down on the wire for somebody else, I'd rather just cut the wire.
Yeah,
that's kind of me.
Right.
Our producers produce all types. She's apparently producer Caitlin has played these games because she's very excited. We got 9 messages here.
Yes.
Let's see this. Let's see what producer Caitlin has said. She loves this game so much. We need to play that. I used to spend hours in the library playing that with a friend in college. So now you guys are arsonists and bombing buildings.
No, we were defusing the bomb.
It doesn't sound like that. The bomb had to get this. These are all capital offenses, Ray. You guys, what am I getting involved with?
No, even Caitlin says it. We're the bomb diffusers.
Let me ask you guys a question. You ever lose this game?
Yes.
Yeah, so you've blown up a bunch of people, right? It's your fault. I've seen a lot of movies from the 90s. The person who doesn't defuse the bomb or catch the cliffhanger or doesn't do what they did to save the loved one, it's their fault, thus creating a larger. So not only have you blown a bomb up, but in the 90s storyline, you created a villain somewhere because you didn't save everybody.
Well, right? I mean, here's the thing. I just have to make sure the bus stays above 55 miles an hour, and the bomb will be fine.
There's a bomb on a bus.
Yeah.
55. That's funny nowadays, right?
I know.
For those of you younger than 40, we're talking about the movie Speed.
Yes.
With Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock was probably a very large, honestly, cinematic moment in Ray and my life.
Oh, it's that movie. To me, it's still one of the best action movies.
I think it might be the best action movie. I mean, like that was
action suspense, like
sitting on the edge of your seat the whole movie, and then right when you think the movie's going to end, there's like a third act.
Yeah,
I never expected when I was a kid. I was like, "Well, there's more," and then they ruined it by making Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah, that was
horrible. But Keanu Reeves was smart enough to go, "No,
yeah,
this is before Sandra Bullock had Oscars and was Sandra Bullock as we know her. She signed on to that." William Dafoe played actually a pretty good villain in that, though.
Yeah, like, but to be fair, like that was to me, like I think that's her first big roles for Sandra Bullock were the Speed movies.
It was. I'm talking about I'm talking about Speed 2. Where
Speed 2 is a disaster.
William Dafoe was the bad guy, but he's so over the top. That's the only reason you watch the movie. And he said in an interview, it's like, "Oh, I understood what that was."
Yeah.
I knew exactly what I had to do for that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what came first.
Ask me and I'll
Okay.
tell you.
No, so it was
don't give it away. Let me guess. This is my favorite thing.
Demolition Man or Speed?
Oh, Demolition Man came first.
Yeah, by a year. Yeah, it was by a year. So yeah.
And, I heard they're making a sequel to that. So Demolition Man, another impactful movie from our youth.
I want you to understand, from 1993 to 1995 was the peak of cinema, because we had like Ace Ventura, we had Speed, we had Demolition Man, we had think about it. Like maybe expand it a little bit. Maybe expand it a little bit, like 92, like because then you could get like Jurassic Park.
It was a good time.
Like it.
Look, I'll be very blunt, and for those of you listening, you'll understand this, right? Sometime, look, 9/11 changed everything, right? Like suddenly things were very serious. It was just art imitating society a bit.
And actually, Jurassic Park was 93 too, so never mind. You can just keep it.
Yeah. I mean, that time period where we were kind of carefree as a country. I mean, it was a fun time to go to the movies. And again, we were kids. We were seeing things through the eyes of kids. But and then there was this weird time, Ray, like after that, where the main character had to die at the end of every film, and it got ridiculous.
Yeah,
like you'd feel really good.
That's James Cameron's fault.
Yeah, yes, you're right. And they'd kill off Jack, or they'd kill off. Yeah, there was a movie called Pay It Forward. That was a great movie, right? It's all about passing on kindness, and the main character is a kid. He's a very famous actor. I can't remember his name right now. He's in a lot of Joel Osment or something.
Was it Haley Joel?
Yeah, I'm gonna spoil it for you so you don't watch it, right? So this whole movie is about paying forward kindness, and at the end, as a kid, he's a kid. Someone stabs him and kills him, and that's how the movie ends. And it's like you see, guys, now you're feeling something. I was like, I was feeling great and ready to pay it forward, but now I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to get murdered. You idiots, right? So there was a whole time period where every movie
things took a weirdly dark and cynical turn. But I was saying, if you go back to 92, though, you can also extend it to the Disney animation renaissance too.
Was it Little Mermaid? No, Little Mermaid was before that.
Well, that Little Mermaid was, I think, 89. But I feel like that's when you're starting to get into Lion King and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and stuff.
It was a really
technically you're right. Little Mermaid technically kicked off the animation renaissance.
Well, you know what we're talking about, Ray. I'm just realizing this because Toy Story is in that era. You're really talking about the last films without massive CGI, right? And so that was the peak of that era of filmmaking. But Demolition Man, if you watch this today as a young person, you're gonna think it's just dumb and funny. But it's amazing. It was an amazing film at the time. It would glance at the future. Also the dangers of utopia. I mean, it was it was really well done. And not to mention, thankfully, in the future, we do not get fined by Dr. Kato for cursing.
Yeah,
you have to watch.
And we still don't have 3 seashells.
The 3 seashells don't make any sense. No, you have been fined 1 citation for. It's a great movie. I think they are making a sequel to that. Sandra Bullock was in that one too, as you were alluding to. Yep. But great films from the 90s that everyone should watch. I think Demolition Man is one of them, right? For sure. And I think with the other one we were talking about, must see.
Speed,
Speed is probably one of the top 5 action films ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's probably a Schwarzenegger one in there and a Stallone one in there, but Speed is there. It put Keanu Reeves on the map too. A lot of people forget. A lot of young people forget Keanu Reeves was kind of this doped up kind of idiot in a lot of films before Speed. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Point Break. Speeds would put him on the map.
Yeah. Took his career to a whole nother level.
And Dennis Hopper was fantastic.
Oh, one of the best villains of all time, and it saved him after the Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, so. I don't know. We don't bring that up here. We don't talk about that.
No,
we don't talk about Mario.
Yeah, when did that come out? That was also 93. So 93 wasn't. Look. There was occasionally a miss.
That was a huge miss.
Yeah. Never. Hey, Belatro, 9 out of 10. Also great.
There you go. And we're back. There we go.
We're back. So I mean, especially for the price. Again, if you're looking for something, if you're going I think Belatro absolutely for $15. I'll say this: if they cut that to 5 and put it on mobile, that game will explode.
Maybe they will.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I were them. But especially not that they already set records as they're a small-time developer and publisher, 250,000 units sold in 72 hours, which for a smaller indie company, it's a big deal. So good on them. So moving on to our final gaming story of the day, and our final story of the day. This is a fun one. This just broke last night. Of course, for the folks who haven't heard, the Capcom Cup. It's a Capcom's international fighting game tournament. They do it obviously especially whenever they do a new Street Fighter. I did a little Christopher Walken there. Street Fighter. Foo Fighters.
Hey, you hitting that man over there.
Yeah.
Street Fighter.
This was a big deal. This is the first time that Capcom has offered $1 million prize for the Capcom Cup winner. It's also the first time any fighting game has offered $1 million prize. Like Fortnite has had $1 million prizes before, and Overwatch and whatnot. This was the first fighting game. Considering, I think the reason why esports are where they are is I think because of the fighting game community. This was a surprise that this was the first time. But yes, this Capcom Cup X. Uma from Taiwan. His real name's Kagami. Dude was down to, he said, the last $300 in his pocket. He used it to get himself to the Capcom Cup. And he's been a professional esports player for the last 6 years. This is the first time that he's finished in the top 10. Never mind winning. I mean, he won it all, but this is the first time he even finished in the top 10. So he kind of came out of nowhere. He played also with a character named Jury, who was kind of laughed at because she's not considered top tier necessarily by the fighting game community. And the dude just believed in himself. He believed in his gameplay, and everybody kind of underestimated him. He didn't lose a match, Lee, until the semifinals, and then ended up sweeping the finals 3-0. Like he won 3-2 in the semis. That was the closest he got to being eliminated. He just rolled the entire tournament, and
in the zone, huh?
Yeah, I think that's like $30 million in Taiwanese money.
Wow.
The $1 million. So like he basically he changed his life in the course of a weekend. And,
through a game. I love it. And it just goes to show you that if you still think these are silly, they're not. Like this is a way of life for some people.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, this also was this was Street Fighter 6. Obviously, Capcom has moved on now to Street Fighter 6. He was playing Street Fighter 5 professionally. I say that because in quotes, because again, he never placed. He never did top 10 in any of the Street Fighter 5 tournaments. And now Street Fighter 6 changed some new mechanics, and obviously it got him in the zone. And congratulations to Kagami, and I hope I'm saying that right. And a big deal. And now Capcom Cup, of course, has already announced Capcom Cup 11. But good on them, and I hope to continue to support the fighting game community. I mean, obviously, it behooves them as fighting game makers. And this was a big deal, and hopefully we'll start to see bigger and bigger prizes and continued success from.
You're doing something, do it well.
Yeah,
that's a good story to end this one on today.
Yes, absolutely. So maybe he'll pay it forward somehow.
Maybe he could be our official non-sponsor.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, or Capcom could. We'll promote the Capcom Cup.
Capcom, we're here.
Yep.
Been waiting for
we could do commentary.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Down goes Blanca. Down goes Blanca.
He never saw it coming. That kick combo came out of nowhere.
Down goes Blanca.
Oh, goodness. Maybe not. We'll see.
We'll do it for less than $1 million. I can tell you that.
That's very true. That's very, very true. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for tuning in as always. Be sure to come back, of course, later in the week for our mashup.
Mashup. We got a really good mashup. I'm going to tease it right now. Which Marvel or DC hero or villain is most likely to sign with the other universe in free agency? That'll be out on Saturday, or if it's after Saturday, you can listen to these things whenever you want. But that is the mashup for this Saturday. Again, baseball free agency, kind of the beginning of the season. We're going to move some DC people to Marvel and some Marvel people to DC because they want to. Not trading them. They're free agents. Tune in on Saturday for the mashup.
Yes. So, but until then, thank you all for watching. As always, we appreciate it. For Lee, I'm Ray. This has been Geeks Who Like Sports. We'll see you next week.